All right, welcome to the UCW Radio Show, and I want to thank you guys for joining us again. As you know, every show we bring on some inspirational, motivational people that are doing amazing things that you don't hear about and you don't hear their story. And we tell their story here. And today is no different. We have Anna Kathryn Kovach. She's on the show with us, and she's going to share her story with us. I'm excited about it because you haven't heard it. So this is the first time. Anna, welcome to the show. How are you?
Great. How are you? Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming on, taking the time. What I like to do, because a lot of people are probably not familiar with you, so I want to get them familiar with you. Why don't you give us a backdrop of yourself and let people know, who you are? Because I know you're, modeling and an activist. I know this stuff; they may not. So give them a backdrop, and then we're gonna have a nice conversation.
So I've been a model for pretty much since high school. I've, done little bits here and there, and I became more involved with it when I moved to England and I got a degree in journalism. So
Oh, look at
once I
that.
moved there, it sort of took off. I was involved with London Fashion Week and
Mhm.
represented the USA and top model worldwide. So I've been immersed in the world of modeling since then, which was around like 2012.
Mhm.
But I've found my calling in life and my cause in life, which is for the animals. And being a model, sometimes you're in positions where you have to model things and you might not be comfortable with it. And I've always just listened to my gut feeling about how I feel what's best to do in those situations. And I feel now that I've reached a point in my career where I can like speak out and use my voice for a greater good. I'm going to use it for that and speak up for the animals, because I think there's so much going on in our world right now and it can get like pushed in the back, of our thoughts, but it struck a chord with me, and I've been just happy to champion those causes and using my platform and modeling to do that.
No, I think that's amazing because, I didn't know you were in London, you lived over there, and you were immersed in the modeling world, and you were helping these models to go and build up in the industry, it's a hard
Right.
industry, isn't it? It's pretty hard. I mean, I guess it has to be cutthroat.
I think so. And I'm not that type of person, I don't have that personality for that type of, you know, cutthroat attitude, but I just like to be myself and, be a good person. And, I think good things come to those who, dream for it and
Mhm.
believe in it. So I'm just grateful for all the opportunities that God has given me in my life. And, but I feel like this is a greater calling and a greater cause. So I'm able to somehow work side and side and use my voice and my photos to get attention. And if it's good attention, that's good because it's raising awareness for any kind of cause with animal welfare.
And the attention that you're getting is sparking the interest of the likes of PETA, which
Right.
I support. And you've done some stuff there recently, and I'm going to go into that in a second. I want to reel it back. Tell me, when you were in London. I mean, you're a journalist too, so you went to school for this. So
Hmm.
and you had it gives you the ability to, I guess, kind of find that voice in you and others and get it out. And
Right. It does.
have you used that?
I have. I mean, being a writer and being in the background, like you see a story, but then when you're a part of a story, this is the first time I've been a part of a story with PETA when I caught their attention, with campaigning for animal rights. So it was funny being the journalist and then being the person that you're writing about at the same time. And then you can see how, your voice really does reach people and all different levels.
And you also leverage social media to get that message out as well.
Exactly,
That's how
exactly.
we
I think
connected. We connected on
exactly.
IG, and I was watching the stuff you were doing. I said, you know what, this is interesting, and I didn't know too much about you. And I said, this is a story that needs to be told, and here we
Right,
are today.
right.
We're telling it.
Yes, exactly. So I've been able to be, through the grace of God, I've been able to meet so many wonderful people like yourself along the way, and it's just part of this journey, reaching out to one another and, you know, being able to speak up.
So let me ask you this: when was that moment that you thought that you had something in you to be an animal activist? You had something in you to utilize what you were doing to kind of bring attention to these matters that are out there.
Well, I never really thought I was going to be like an animal activist. I kind of, in my own way, have been one my whole life, whether it was in middle school and we were being forced to dissect rats or frogs. And I was like the one that said, hey, I don't have to do this. The law says you can't make me do it. And I was passing flyers out and, I
Oh,
always
look at you!
caused a
I'm sure the
scene.
teachers loved you.
Yeah, well, actually, I'll never forget it when I finally convinced everyone that they didn't need to be, dissecting, that they have to provide you with like a computer software so you could still complete the course. She threw a dead rat at me right in
Really?
front of the class, seriously, and she
Wow.
laughed at me. And I just thought, wow, I was like, obviously, I'm doing the right thing if it's provoking
And
somebody to do that.
this was in high school,
This was in middle school.
middle school. Yeah,
This
for a
was like
teacher to
seventh
do that.
grade.
A
I
teacher
know,
should
and
not
all the
be a teacher. Nothing for nothing.
I know, and I remember the kids all just like held their breath, and I just stood my ground and I stood by principal and I just stared right back at her. So she obviously let me use the computer software. But getting back to your question, just being this idea of an activist, I think people think that you have to put yourself physically out there, that you're protesting, that you're marching. You can do it from the comfort of your home. In this pandemic, we all know what it's like to be at home.
Sure.
So I've just been, doing what I can, and I would like to do more. I know I can do more. But the moment came in December when I was watching QVC. It was the day after Christmas. We're still happy. Everything's great. And I
And,
see this
and you figure you sit
electronic.
down and go in and do some shopping.
Yeah, I've always loved QVC.
Yeah.
They're fun. I like the hosts. I've grown up watching that show. And I remember seeing it on the television. I had to take a picture of it with my phone because I couldn't believe it. It was this electronic mousetrap, and you're able to download an app on your phone, and you can keep track of how many you kill each day, almost like a game. And I was like,
Really?
there's something wrong with this whole picture, and it didn't
Yeah.
sit right with me. I thought something about this is wrong, and I said, electrocution is never humane. It's never
No.
humane for human beings, let alone animals. And you know this is going too far. And I thought, for a home family oriented shopping channel, I needed to say something. I'm a
Sure.
consumer. I buy things from them, and I wanted to use my voice. And that's something in me like changed that day, and I realized there is a cause
Hmm.
and there is a purpose for me out here, and it's not just sitting out here, you know being silent, looking away. The worst thing you can do in this world is look away when there's, you know, things going on for animals that are not good.
Right.
So I reached out to QVC and I sent various messages and pleading with them to reconsider, and I heard nothing for about 11 days. And then I heard from their headquarters, and they said, thank you for continually reaching out to us. We have decided to pull the product from our television show and also from our website, and we will never sell this type of product again. And I just couldn't believe that me, like of all people, one person could speak up and you
Why
can make a
not? I mean,
difference.
but one
Right,
person can make a difference, and that's the thing. If you look at history, you always have that one person, whether it's sitting in the front of a bus, whether it's marching and having a voice, getting on TV, whatever it is, one person can spark something. But it takes that
right.
one
And
person to be that brave to do it. You
well,
know.
it's just, I've researched so much about electrocution since then, and I have come up with a lot of, backup to why I think it is inhumane. Uh, in 1903, there was an elephant named Topsy, and she
Topsy.
was
Topsy that
Topsy.
went over the bridge in Pennsylvania.
Really? Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
But she was a circus elephant from Coney Island, and she was taken from her mother at a very young age. She was brought up in this dysfunctional circus life, and they would force her to want to take cigarettes in her mouth, and if she refused, she pushed them back, and they thought, oh well, we can't deal with this, she's got to go,
Mm-hmm.
we've got to execute her. And they wanted to originally hang her, but
Oh my God.
the ASPCA at the time said no, that's too far. But that was during the time of the Battle of the Currents with Thomas Edison and all these,
Yeah.
people like Tesla, and he was trying to prove that alternating current was really deadly. So he would use these animals that he would find off the streets, like strays or cattle or horses. And finally, it was Topsy, and they hooked her up to this electrocution device in front of like 1,200, 1,500 people.
Mm-hmm.
And it was televised, well, recorded back then.
Mm-hmm.
And she obviously showed what he was trying to prove, that how deadly and how painful it was. And I thought, wow, we haven't learned anything 118 years from
No.
now, how deadly this is. Like, we're glorifying it with mouse traps. And
Mm-hmm.
on the QVC website, they kept saying it's humane. It's humane. It's a humane high voltage shock. And I argued with them and I said, there is nothing ever humane with high voltage.
No, I mean,
And there
you
has
ever
to
get
be better
electrocuted? But
alternatives.
you ever get a shock from a plug or from a car battery? That's not fun.
Right.
So it can't be
No,
much different than that, And just with
no.
that elephant Topsy you were speaking about back then, the Battle of the Currents, you had
Mm-hmm.
Carnegie, which was building bridges with steel, and he used
Mm-hmm.
Topsy to walk over the bridge, and that's what brought
Oh,
people to embrace steel, which is interesting. But
that is
they, yeah,
interesting.
Topsy did a great thing there. But then they were using the elephant to test electricity. That doesn't make any sense.
And I know, I just know that I had to remember her name. I know they have it out there on YouTube, like you can watch it, and I can't find the strength to watch it, but just seeing her picture spoke to my soul. And I felt like in some way I was channeling her, and I realized that I'm doing the right thing.
For
Maybe other
sure.
people think it's silly. When you're looking at a mouse and you're comparing it to yourself, I think people think that something so small doesn't have feelings, or it doesn't have any it's not deserving of respect or compassion, which is a shame.
Well, humanity gets lost, and it starts with a mouse. Where does it go? A mouse, a cat,
Exactly.
a dog, a monkey, and as you said, elephants and things of that nature. Where does it stop? What are they going to go and take? Kids and test electric current through them. There has to be a battleground where lines are drawn, and this is one of them, because I mean, really, how is it a game to go and electrocute any living creature?
And to make a game out of it on your cell phone
That's
and
the
to
thing,
keep
that's a
keep
little
track
much.
of it each day. And it was just like, death is not a game. That's
See,
what's resonated with me. And I thought I was the only person. Perhaps there were other people that wrote in, but I just kept being persistent. I wrote to everyone. It was very hard to get in touch with them because their phone lines were busy. So I thought the written word is best. I just kept typing and pleading with them, and I did alert PETA to this, and I said, just so you know, I've noticed this and I'm going to keep pursuing this and writing this. Well, they're so busy. They get so many messages. About the time this was resolved and the product was pulled, PETA said, well, what's going on? I said, it's done. It's wonderful. It's been pulled. And they said, oh, wow. And then they got back to me a month later and they said, our colleagues and I would like to honor you with this award. And it was
nice.
just like, wow. I
Well,
was so
congratulations
honored.
with that. But
Thank
PETA,
you.
they do a lot of great things out there. They get criticized for some things. Maybe they're going over the
Mhm.
top. I get it. But you know what? If you don't go a little extreme, really, you're not going to get the attention to the core, to the real causes that you're trying to impact.
Well, I
And
think that they've played, nice, but that doesn't always get attention.
no, something nice. You play nice. Sometimes people will laugh at you, ignore you, and do all that fun stuff, but nothing gets done. And really,
Right.
again, I don't care if it's civil rights or any other types of rights that are out there. If you're not fighting for them, then how is it going to invoke change? And
Well,
with
the worst,
animals
yes.
don't have voices, so they need us to fight for them. And that's
Right.
important.
I found my cause, and that's what my heart spoke to me, and I realized that
Good.
this is my gift. I'm able to reach out to many people because of my modeling. I've used that as a platform. I've been published in many magazines, and I've used interviews to talk about like cruelty-free beauty products or how to just to make changes in your life that are going to be a positive impact on the environment and for animals. But the worst thing that we can do is turn a blind eye and to live in ignorance. And right now, I feel like it's like what Jane Goodall said recently. She said there's just this small window of time before we're totally trashing this planet. I mean, it goes even beyond like animal welfare because while they're being abused, it's destroying the whole world,
Look, if
from the
people
oceans to the lands.
Well, if you noticed that during the pandemic, people weren't traveling, a lot of things weren't happening. So what happened? The ocean, I mean, the Earth started healing itself. Had the time to. You
It
had
did, yeah,
you
it
had
did.
dolphins going where they haven't gone before, and they went to the to Venice. They were in the canal. I mean, you can see the bottom of the canal where normally you can't. Normally it's like black, like
Right.
tar. And the bottom line is that when you give the earth the opportunity to heal, maybe you kind of have a better tomorrow. And I think we need to be more aware of this because I think that lack of awareness, a lack of caring, is a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
I just think, like when we look at animals and ourselves, and it's as it says in the Bible, we've been given dominion over the animals, but that doesn't mean we haven't been given, that trust and care to look after them. They weren't just garbage,
Hmm.
And I've been finding by reading in the Bible that there is a lot of evidence how veganism was used in the Bible and it wasn't something shameful.
Hmm.
Because I think people look at the Bible and they think, well, animals were created for us to eat. But really, if you read deeper, in the Bible, Adam and Eve named all these animals. They were, very fond of them. And and after Noah's Ark, when God made that rainbow appear in the sky, he made that promise not just to humans, but also to animals that he would never do this again. So obviously, he holds animals in high regard. They're not just something to be taken lightly. And I've thought about that, and I think that we definitely can use a lot more compassion in this world
Well,
with
compassion is a
everything.
key thing, and animals they have feelings. If you have a dog or a
Right.
cat, I mean they have emotions. They have and same thing. I've been, and call me crazy, but I've been and I spent time with goats and other animal horses and cows, and because I travel a lot, so I come across and that calms me down. So when I'm able to go to a little farm and do that stuff, but it's just interesting how when you look at them that they have a way of connecting. They have a way of connecting. They're curious. They're curious. I got
They
chased
are.
by 20 goats. They would, but it wasn't they were trying to do something. Actually, I thought they were gonna pick me up in the air, but the thing is they were
Right.
curious. They were curious and they just wanted to hang out. And if a creature, if any animal can do that, any creature can do that, any living being can do that, then they have feelings, right?
I
So
think
yeah,
so, exactly.
so
And
they,
I
they feel
feel
pain, they feel they feel when you're mad at them. They feel when you're happy. So
Hmm.
it's just crazy how that gets discarded so easily. And humans, to me, if are probably the how can I put it without me getting in trouble? Um, they can be there's a level of I'm not gonna well maybe I don't know if evil's the right word. There's a level of disregard for other life, even human
Right.
life, where people can go out and
Exactly.
easily go kill someone else. So there has to be something that maybe can help and bring things to people's attention, because I think that something needs to be done, and you're doing a great job with that, with getting the word out and doing that. Look, you got an award from PETA.
I know, right?
They send you
That's,
a little rabbit.
it's what?
They send you a little rabbit.
They sent
PETA rabbit.
me they sent me a book by the president of PETA called "One Can Make a Difference," and
Mhm.
that's what the award is called. One Can Make a Difference, and it was a big framed award certificate. It had a little mouse on a little flower. It was
Okay.
really cute. But yeah, getting back to what you were saying, I think that human beings are good at heart. I think most people care. I do believe in good people, and I believe that there are some people that have no idea what's going on, and maybe listening today what we're speaking about, it might like plant a seed in their heart,
You can
and
only
and for
hope.
me, like what I speak about when I speak for animals, it's not about winning debates, it's not about winning arguments, it's about winning hearts. It's about hopefully we can heal this world together. We shouldn't be fighting with each other. We should be thinking, how can we make it better? Human beings at their best are so inventive and so creative.
Hmm.
And I've seen such a movement with the plant based lifestyle with food. It's just skyrocketed, especially during this pandemic, because people feel safer eating something that might not have, COVID.
Well, and but also think over the past 10 years, over the past 5 years, there has been a lot of things happening. Now you have plant-based burgers that, people never thought you can go to McDonald's or Burger King and get a vegan meal that tastes like meat.
Right, right.
Meatish. You never thought, but that's something with Beyond Meat and the Impossible Burger or meat or whatever. These companies are creating things using science. Using science, they're creating things
Right.
maybe can be a replacement for it. And I've had the Impossible Whopper, and it tastes pretty good. It's not on sale anymore, but what are you going to do? But it tastes pretty good. So there are alternatives. Doesn't mean not everyone's going to stop eating meat. Yeah, I mean
Hmm.
it's something that has to be accepted, but there can be some sort of balance, because with the farms and the cows and the greenhouse emissions, all this stuff that transpires, it's affecting not only the animals, it's affecting us, it's affecting the whole world. And how long can that go?
Well, just think what you're eating though. Like they're injecting so many hormones and so many antibiotics in these animals, and it's coming into people. Like you are what you eat, and if you're eating this, you have to question, like, really, what am I eating? What am I putting into my body here, besides like pain and suffering? And I've looking at the dairy industry, there's just something that doesn't sit right with me. And we grow up being raised eating, meat or drinking milk or eating eggs, and then you look at the reality. These cows are being raped. They're being, artificially inseminated. Their babies are taken away from them just as they're born, and
Yeah,
the male calves are being murdered. And I'm like, this is an ugly process. Like, I think back to the biblical days. Yes, that kind of thing was, people ate meat then, but it wasn't like that. There was not factories. I think we've looked at these animals as dollar signs and profit, and it's just greed. And I can't look away I can't unsee what I have seen on videos of people who are undercover. I can't unsee that. And if I ever think for a second that I don't have it in me to speak up, I just remember what I've seen.
Yeah.
And it's like they're saying to me, please don't forget my face.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
I
look.
always think that in the back of my head. And I think we can do so much better in this country and around the world. It's one thing to call yourself a nation of animal lovers, but it's hypocrisy to say that knowing what's going on in this country and all over the world, you
Well, I
know.
mean, the thing is that what they do in I mean, the meat factories and how they go and they take these animals and what they do to them, even with the goose down and what they do with the birds and everything. I've seen this stuff, and it's horrifying.
Mm.
It's horrifying that where they take the sheep and I mean, with that, just chopping tails off and doing all this stuff, and it's like, what? I mean, if you need the fur, I mean the wool, right? You can shave them, yeah, and then it grows back,
Right, because
right?
they grow and they have to be shaved in
They have
order
to be
to have a
shaved
healthy
anyway.
life.
Right. So you
Right.
do that, but there's no need to go and be violent with these animals. And I've seen the violence that come from the animals that call themselves humans that deal with this. And to me, it's there's something wrong with that. There's really something
Well, it's
wrong with that.
heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because it's, these animals, we are more than qualified as human beings to be entrusted with their care. And we need to stop looking at them as profit and start looking at them with souls. They are sentient beings like us in every sense of the word. I mean, the most high God of heaven created this mouse and this and us human beings. They're nothing to some people, but to me they're the world. And it's
Well,
just perspective. It's all about perspective. And you can't convince everybody, but if you can convince just one person to rethink things, then you're on the right track.
but again, as we said earlier, it does take that one person to believe that they can change the world. And I'll talk about something that has nothing to do with animals. Steve
Mm-hmm.
Jobs.
Right.
Everyone knows who he is. Steve Jobs. He created Apple with Wozniak and everything else, and he did this. Okay, his thing, what he said, and I posted this not too long ago. He said that those that are crazy enough to think that they can change the world, guess what? Those are the ones that will change the world. So if you take,
Right.
I mean, look, if Martin Luther King didn't believe in what he believed in, would there be the civil rights? Would there be laws? Where would things be different today? Would things have changed?
He was a trailblazer. He was way ahead of his time, and he, had the strength of God to do what he did. He
And it
walked in
was
greatness.
without violence, without violence. So, you know,
Right.
but if
Or
he never,
Gandhi.
yeah, if he didn't have that strength to do that, then things would nothing. I mean, who knows where things would be today? What if Rosa Parks, decided, hey, I'll stand, or I'll stand in the back of the bus. She sat in the front of the bus. She wasn't getting off.
Exactly.
If these people didn't have it in them to say enough is enough, and didn't do this stuff, things would be different today. Same thing with our leaders. They're doing things that I mean, they have to invoke some type of change, and environmental change, is helpful. Okay, animal rights is a necessity, and I think more of that needs to come into play. And you're
I
part of this
agree.
whole solution.
Yeah, I'm still new to this journey, but I'm, ready and willing. I've said to PETA many times, if you ever need a voice, I'm your girl. And when that was like the last thing I ever said to them, and then a month later, I had this award, and I thought, wow, they think so much of me. And I didn't think that much of myself. I didn't have a lot of self esteem. I just thought, here I am, just being a consumer, giving my opinion, but I didn't realize that I was standing up for something greater than what I thought I was standing up for.
Good thing you
So
did
I,
that.
you, my advice for everyone out there is just to believe that you can be that one person to make change. We've talked about Martin Luther King Jr. and Gandhi, and you know, it's like what Gandhi said, the moral progress and greatness of a nation can be seen in how its animals are treated. And I think that we need to work towards that
Sure.
everywhere, not just America, but everywhere. And I think that I have hope. I believe one day we will live with peace and that we can make this happen. We just have to be willing to work at it. It's not easy. You take steps into it. You don't just jump into it.
Hmm.
You think, what can I do to make the world better? And you can do so much, whether it's, in your community, like my mom and I, we help a colony of feral cats, and we've changed lives. We've seen them go to new homes, like just doing something good.
Hmm. Well,
That's what makes us
have to do something good. You can't just be on a mission for success. It's good
right,
to be successful, and I love when people succeed and they do something awesome. I love it. I love it.
right.
What I love better is when they take that success and they do good. Then you know what? You're a superstar because now you're actually doing something good with whatever success or fame that you've developed. Now you can do something further with it. And I think that's important. I think that more people need to do that. I don't think enough people do that.
And I've had such great support. I thought when I came out as being a vegan and supporting animal rights, I thought I was going to get hit with a lot of negativity. But actually, so many people in my life hugged me and said, "I'm so glad that you're doing what you're doing." And one of my friends for many years wrote me a letter, and she said, "Because of your activism and your courage, I've found the courage to take that leap of faith, and I've decided not to eat meat anymore." And I thought, wow, I said, you know, I feel like I am making a difference.
You do.
I'm
You're
speaking
making
up
an
and
impact. You're making an impact in your way.
right.
And whether you're impacting one person or 1,000 people, it's important. And the thing is that this is a journey. You as far as activism, you're just starting. Where
Hmm.
are you going to be in the next 5 years? You don't know, but you know
I
something. I
don't know.
think that you're going to be a lot higher, much higher than you are right now. And think of the impact then. What you're going to be able to do. You're going to be
Right.
reaching
I'll look back
people.
on this. Maybe in 5 years, we'll be speaking again and
Sure.
recalling what I
Now
said
you probably forget
exactly.
about me. You say, Lou, who's that guy?
No, but you know what? I think what you're saying is true. Like the best is yet to come,
Sure.
and we have to keep pushing at it, keep walking. Even though people may doubt you and laugh at you, just keep on walking. That's the best advice I've ever heard in my life. Just keep on walking.
Yeah.
Because
Well.
if you stop, then you won't accomplish your destiny. When your destiny is calling you, you know it in your heart,
Mhm.
and God put that there. And I knew that this was my calling. I've had hints of it my whole life, but that was the moment where I had to either change the channel and just forget I saw it, or just speak up.
That was your personal
And
inflection point of where you were going to go this way or that way, and
exactly.
you made a conscious decision to do something because you were able to. Where it's people think that it's easy just to do something. It's not. You have
No.
to, you do something. You have to commit to it. Like look on social media and internet and everything. It's easy to be a tough guy, be a bully, and that's what people do. It's easy to do that because you do it and you walk away. When you're doing something good, maybe it's a little bit harder to do. Maybe it's a little more of yourself that needs to be put into it. But why not?
It's
Why not?
always easy to follow the crowd and not say something if you feel it in your heart that it's wrong, but it's harder to step out of the crowd
Sure.
and single yourself out and say, well, I'm going to go this way. I'm not going to go with everyone else because my heart's telling me something else.
Yeah, and you don't have to go spend all your time doing it, but do something, anything.
Right.
And just in life, I believe that everyone should do something good, at least one good thing a day, one little thing, something, anything.
Yeah. It
Help an
lifts
old
the
lady
spirit.
pick their bags up. Go. I mean, let somebody go in front of you in a line. Whatever,
Exactly.
the little things. But it's interesting when you do that, and with me anyway. I feel good about it because I know I'm consciously doing something, as ridiculous as it may sound, but I'm doing something that I know is the right thing to do. Like, you don't have
Right.
to be just all like this all the time, where this is what we're stuck doing most of the time. We're so wound up, and you forget that that person that lives next door to you or down the block or a country away, guess what? They cut their hand, they bleed like you. You hit them, they
That's
hurt
right.
you. They're human, okay? And with
Right.
animals, like you have a cat, you have a dog, whatever. The bottom line is there are other animals that feel the same way your animals feel.
Exactly. And
So
I
yeah,
when you live for others, it changes your life. If you live an existence of just being self-absorbed, what are you really living
yeah.
for? Honestly, if you don't live for others, and that could be other people, you could be living, for other people. In my case, I live for animals, I obviously love people,
Yeah.
but my
Not all
special
people,
place in my
most
heart,
people.
right? But I believe in good people, even if they're having a bad day. I believe there's good. I do believe that, and I think we're all capable of compassion, which is, great. I mean, if you when you like, as a society, if we're pushing animals down here on the spectrum, that's only bringing us down. But once we raise them up to here, that just raises us even higher. So just think of the possibilities if we did that
No.
together as a nation. I just can't fathom how blessed we'd all be and feel inside to do good for others, and
Well,
that includes
yeah,
animals.
it's about doing good, And some people they're so stuck in the success mode and really getting ahead, and probably the first chapters of their lives are on that treadmill with earning it, but then they begin to realize later, you know what? Now I have to do some good, and that's okay. You can't be an activist from the time you're out of the womb, but you can
Right,
go
right,
build up and just get it together and then do something good out there. And I'm going to go back to history because I love history. Andrew
right.
Carnegie, one thing that he did at the later part of his life, when he was done, when he sold his company to JP Morgan, all this stuff, when he did that, he preached that if you die a billionaire, you're the poorest
Yeah.
man on the planet, that you have to go do good and give it away and do some good. Not give it away, but do things.
Right. Well, money doesn't have any value unless you're helping others with it. That's how I feel. Like, if I ever was fortunate enough and blessed to win the lottery, man, I would build the greatest sanctuary the world has ever seen. Honestly, if I could win like the Mega Millions or something, I always said to myself, I would just buy all this land and have all these animals come there, and it would just be like, wow, that would be my kind of heaven.
But you got to hire a lot of pooper scooper guys because
That's right.
and,
Yeah, but
but that's okay. See, that shows your heart, and I think that's fantastic. And hopefully, you do win Mega Millions. But then
yeah,
again, you do
right.
that, then it'll be like Lou Who again. But that's okay. But you're going to
No.
be doing some good stuff out there, and I think more and more people should hear your words and understand that you can do good while building up. You've used
Right.
your modeling background, your career, your journalism career to go and do the things you're doing right now. Now, does this mean that that's all you do? No, but it's a start and it's becoming a part of your life.
Right. I've been using my face as a canvas recently to write messages, and a couple people were like just shocked, like close friends. They're like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you writing things on your beautiful face? Is that going to stay there forever?" Like they thought I like tattooed this on my
Hmm.
face. I said, "No, no." I said everybody's so fixated on looking at me. I want them to look in here, but they're looking at my face, and it's going to say more than what my words could say, and it will remind you of who I am and what I stand for. And And I'm so glad that I've been doing it. I think, some people like it and some people don't get it, but it gets attention. And if it's getting attention, that's good.
Well,
It's
you
in
know
a
what they
positive
say,
way.
there's no such thing as good or bad press, it's just press. You get attention,
Right,
you get
right,
attention, but you're getting the attention to something that you believe in, good or bad, it's coming, so someone took notice. They can say something bad about it, but you look, didn't you? So
right. You
somebody says
did.
something good, well, you look, you know what, join the party. So at least you have the guts to do it. So I
Do you know
commend
what I
you.
think would be really cool?
What's that?
I would love to see a statue built in Topsy's honor in Coney Island so that we don't ever forget what she went through and what so many other animals have gone through so we don't repeat history. And I would love to start a Kickstarter where we could raise money where some of the proceeds could go towards that statue and the other half could go towards helping animals.
Oh,
I think that would be a real win-win.
well, then you should definitely get in touch with the Brooklyn Borough president, and don't get in touch with the mayor because he doesn't do too much on a regular. Blasio.
Yeah,
So
he seems like he's pretty busy at the moment.
yeah, he's pretty busy. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's busy with, but he's busy hanging out with Cuomo. But the reality is that you want to do something like that. Yeah, definitely put something out there. Let them
I
know.
think so.
Same thing
I
you
think that would
did
be
with
great.
the QVC. You sparked, you made a difference, and I think you keep doing that, you're going to make more of a difference, and that's going to be pretty cool. And
And
I
I want to praise QVC because I don't want to villainize them in any way. I still love and respect them, and I think that this was a wonderful and positive change. I
they
thought,
listened.
wow,
They listened.
yeah, they listened, and any other company could have just brushed me right under the rug and have ignored me, but they were kind enough and caring enough to listen to a customer, and they've always said I've been a valued customer, so I really commend QVC for making that positive change. And I know that they've made many changes in the past with dropping Angora fur products. They've never sold any kind of fur or any kind of like product with fur. So I've always respected that, and I hope to continue seeing changes with them and other networks that are on the television.
Oh, good deal. And QVC,
Yeah,
good work. Good work. And,
exactly.
and Anna, in closing, why don't you give your social media information, your website, and stuff like that, so people, if they want to follow you, if they want to stay in touch with you, if they want to learn what you're doing, they can do so.
Thank you. If you would like to follow me on my journey, you can follow me on Instagram at Kathryn Kovach. And right now, that's my only social media platform that I have public. So everything I do with activism is on there. And please follow me. I'd love to connect with you. I've connected with so many people since the QVC article came out. So it's been wonderful.
Oh, that's fantastic. And the thing is, for you guys that are viewing and listening to this show, okay, me and Anna were trying to get this show together. What was it, for about 3, 4 weeks before this thing happened?
I
And,
know.
but you know what? We got it done. And in that time, look at what you've done. Okay,
Praise
so
God.
yeah,
Thank you.
and I'm looking forward to you doing more things, greater things. And the next time we bring you on, because we will bring you on again, the next time we bring you on, we're going to have more stuff to show, more stuff to share. And it's going to be really cool to show the progress of what you're doing. And for you people out there that are looking to get involved in animal rights, do so in the littlest way. You don't need to devote your life to it, but do something. Do something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anna, thank you so much. And again, thank you guys for tuning in, and join me on the next episode of the UCW Radio Show. We're going to have some more great guests, more great things, just like Anna. And we're going to be doing we're going to have something, we're going to show some videos probably, I don't know, probably soon. We're going to integrate videos into these interviews, and we'll see how that works out. I don't know. All right. Anyway, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.